hit 30 and I wasn't married and I was single again. And I was like, this is the pinnacle point where if I do not get myself together, I'm going to be repeating this toxic cycle with men until I'm 40, and then it's just going to be over for me. That's what I told myself. It's going to be over for me.
What she's saying is she had reached a point in her life where she was desperately looking for a man to marry her. And marriage is usually the end goal for most women who got a right mind. But in all reality, here's the thing. When a woman is virtuous, when she really want to find a husband for real, that's something that she look for in the prime years of her life. She would be looking for a husband when she's 21, 22, 23, because she understand that a woman's body is sacred, and if she have to offer that to a man, you will want it to be as pure as possible because a man got to save you. But the reality of most women who are for the streets, they put that on the back burner. So instead of looking for a husband while they are in their prime, they usually play the streets and thrive in toxic relationships.
You know that I just got engaged. You're here for my engagement video. Welcome. Hey girl. So today I want to talk about how I prepared for marriage as a single woman. I feel like to be able to tell you this, I've got to tell you a little bit about how I was in a toxic relationship for a very, very long time. Too long if you ask me. I went through a lot, mentally, physically, emotionally, and verbally. He was really toxic. If you can imagine the toll that that took on me, then you could understand.
He was toxic, but she wasn't. However, she stayed in the relationship for a very long time. Why would you stay in a relationship for a very long time if you don't like toxic energy? But when a woman don't take accountability and when she's desperately looking for marriage, she will fake put the toxic energy on the back burner to accomplish her goal.
After that, I decided to leave that relationship and I decided to stay single for 1 year. I was like, I'm gonna be single for 1 year. After that year trickled down to the end, I was like, you know what? I think I need to be single for 2 years. I'm gonna just do a little wraparound and I'm gonna be single for 2 years. 2 years rolled around and I was like, I think I like this. It's going well. I think I'm gonna marry myself. This is great. I don't even think I wanna be married anymore.
If a woman been single for more than 2 years, what happens is she gets used to the freedom of casual dating without committing. She get used to the indiscipline of just being a single woman in the streets. And a lot of times when a woman is used to that, it's hard for her to really commit to a man for a long time. So every little issue that she see in a man, she's gonna hit the streets again. Because women like that usually chase instant gratification. They don't understand like what it takes to really be a wife and really be in a committed situation. That's why if a woman been single for more than 2 years, fellas, that is a red flag.
So in the span of those 3 years, I realized that I had like this great bout of depression. It was so bad that I had never experienced depression in that way. So I took FMLA and I actually went to therapy. Went to therapy for about 12 weeks every day from about 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. When I say this, don't think that you're gonna have to go to therapy for this long. I do think that therapy would be beneficial to you if you're going through a breakup or you're just trying to prepare for marriage and you've got a bit of trauma in your life, which everybody does. So I went to therapy and that therapy actually saved my life. I learned a lot about myself. Some of those things made me a little sad. I realized that I needed to learn to love myself. I thought that I loved myself, but I thought self-love was something that it wasn't. I thought it was just making sure my hair was done, making sure I take a shower, making sure that I eat, but it's like way more than that. So I learned how my brain works. I learned a lot about myself and I learned to embark on my self-love journey, and it's truly where it started. So after therapy, continued to have a one-on-one therapist, every week or so, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks as needed to continue to work on myself.
Now, I'm all for therapy. If you have any mental issues, you should definitely see a therapist. But here's the issue. When these women go to a therapist, what usually happens, the therapist will teach them how to love themselves again, which is good. But the problem is the toxic energy is already embedded in them. So that's nothing they could change. So even if they see a therapist, it's still going to be who they are, because seeing a therapist will just mask the issue. Like, what's embedded in you is embedded in you. That's why a woman past is so important, because if a woman decided to play in the streets, bro, that's all she knows. If a woman is used to dating this type of toxic man, and then all of a sudden she don't want that toxic man anymore when she's at the age of 30, when she want to get married, it's pretty much she's putting that on the back burner to accomplish her goal of being married. So it's like, I ain't got to be toxic anymore, because a toxic man is not going to be the one to marry me. I have to find a sucker. So that's when a bunch of these women will start to clean up their act in hopes of finding a husband.
All I had done was be in relationships after relationship after relationship. The longest I had been single was like 8 months, and that is just not enough time for you to get to know yourself. I broke soul ties, and the way that I broke soul ties, not only with my ex, but all the exes that I had ever been with, I broke all those soul ties. And the way that I did that was fasting and praying and reading my word, and ask God to forgive me for coming in relationship with men that he never sought for me to be coming in relationship with. I had to realize that my mother had never taught me how to be a girlfriend. She always taught me how to be a wife, and I had to come to the realization that I was treating these men, they were my husband. I would get mad at these men for not providing for me, for not doing the things that I needed them to do, for not, reciprocating the energy that I was giving them. But if you really think about it, I was giving wife duties to men who didn't even deserve to be my friend, didn't even deserve to be in my presence. And then I was expecting them to reciprocate that when they weren't even on the level to be treated as a husband.
Notice she keeps saying they. Not one time is she looking at herself in the mirror and saying where she went wrong. How did she play a part in the chaos? She refused to take accountability and look herself in the mirror. She believes that it was all them. And here's the thing about life, bro. It's okay to make a mistake once. Like, if you meet a woman, right, and you look at her past and you saw that she dated one toxic dude, but then you look at the other guys that she dated and they were pretty solid dudes. Sometimes we all make mistakes. We all might try to date a person where it's like, yeah, this person is not for me. But if you date that same type of person over and over and over and over, baby, that's who you are.
Then I figured out what kind of man I wanted. And then everything that I wanted in that man, I made a list. I did everything that I could in those 3 years to become at least half of that list. I did not want to date anybody until I healed from my past, until I figured out what kind of man I didn't want, what kind of man I did want, and then I wanted to be at least half of, if not all of those things before I met him. I had to break all the toxic cycle behaviors I inherited from that toxic relationship as much as I could while I was single. So toxic thinking that I had, that if I wanted to be heard, I needed to yell and curse. That's what all I was used to. The inkling to get into an argument and want to like physically fight somebody or think that I need to be ready to fight somebody. I had to break all of that. I was so depressed in that last relationship that it was like hard some days for me to shower. During that depression of those 12 weeks that I had to go to therapy, it was hard for me to shower. I literally didn't have the energy. That's gonna go over some people's head if you've never been there, but like, it's my truth. I picked up these habits where I would just throw my clothes everywhere. And I'm like, why am I not organized anymore? So I went on like being organized, putting things back where they go, cooking meals, becoming a wife. I noticed that I started to have hatred for my ex. When I would talk about him, it would be negative all the time because I just had never been able to speak up for myself. So I wanted everybody to know what he did to me and how he hurt me and how he lied on me. It really wasn't even about that. I started to hate him. I never hated anybody ever in my life, and I started to hate him.
Yo, imagine being her husband and watching her make a video like this. That's just crazy. But listen, people hate what they love. You got to understand what hate is. Usually, people hate you when they either want to be you or they want to be with you. So a woman will hate a man simply because he probably don't want to be with her or he probably don't want to marry her. So based on the fact that she can't get that man to be who she want him to be, she then starts to hate that man. But in all reality, it's simply because she loved that man. That's the man who is embedded in her. That's the man who got her mind. I'm just being honest. And as a man, if your wife ever makes a video like this talking about her ex, it's time to walk away, brother.
So God directed me to pray for him. Now, the first time I got ready to pray for him, it was more like, God, don't let him die. God bless him today. And it wasn't genuine. And after a while, like, I was praying for this man for months on end, okay? And I was hot about it. Like, God, you want me to do what? You want me to pray for the man? Drug me through the mud? Please. So God was like, if you don't pray for this man, you'll never get another man. And if you do get another man, you're going to run him off because you hate this man. I'm not going to be able to forgive you. I'm not going to be able to bless you because you're harboring hatred for my child. Even though he hurt you, he's still my child and I still love him just as much as I love you. I had to forgive him. Ooh, I'm about to cry. Those days, I asked God to forgive me and help me to forgive him. I would be sobbing and crying because it hurt so bad for me to want to forgive him. And after a while, God softened my heart toward him. I remembered that he is still God's child. And at some point, I really meant it. I was praying for him in love. No evil thoughts about him. I wanted him to win. I wanted him to grow. All of these things prepared me for marriage. And then the last thing that I can think of is I prayed for my husband. I prayed for my husband, y'all, like I knew who he was, like I could see his face. Prayers got so intimate. I thought that I was praying for somebody that I had already met.
How?
It was the weirdest thing. And then I would also ask God to help me continue to grow to where when I meet him, I will be at the level of growth that I need to be so that we could get together. Like I prayed for that man. Okay. And I asked God to make me the wife I needed to be and help me to be the mother that I needed to be. And I didn't even have no man. Yeah.
I tell you what, though, a desperate woman is a dangerous woman, bro, because she's going to find a man somehow, some way. But nevertheless, she did find her husband. And this is the video that she made about her husband.
One is, it came with like the hair growth package. So for the wedding, he did have a little man bun, which is exactly what I wanted. So you have to start early if you want the hair to grow out, and make sure you take care of it. So yeah, very nice texture here. I love this part about the package. This area here, it grows, and it also looks nice in certain like material pants. So we love. We love that part about it, but overall, I feel very spoiled. This version that I got, since I got it, even before it upgraded to like the husband package, like I can't tell you the last time I washed a dish. I don't wash dishes.
What?
Cleans very well, very sweet, puts up with all of my mood swings.
For every man, there's a woman.
And for every dummy, there's a dummy.
So yeah, I would definitely get this. Well, not this model. You're gonna get your own. But yeah, overall, it's serving me really, really well. I really, really love it. And also, like, these are the rings that mine came with. So yeah, I love it. Love my husband so much, and I just want to show you guys. So yeah.
Oh, son, can't open your eyes. Can't you see? Huh?
She just emasculated her husband in front of the world. But fellas, this is what happens as a man when you don't pay attention to the signs, when you ignore the little things in a woman. That's very important because basically the way she concluded everything was pretty much saying, I found a sucker after dealing with players in my 20s. When I hit my 30s, I got desperate. I was desperately looking for a man to marry me. The men that I were usually dating, they weren't trying to marry me. They were just trying to enjoy me. And I found a man, or should I say, I found a sucker who was willing to marry me. I'm spoiled. He does bro. Whenever a woman say you does the dishes, bro, she's emasculating you as a man. She's pretty much saying you're her bitch. Fellas, be wise out here.
Okay, so I'm back in the crib. Y'all would not believe what just happened. Like, I literally went on a date with a guy, and let's just say Mind you, he's sitting right next to me. I ordered what I want. He didn't want to order anything because he ate. So he just ordered a drink. I ordered what I wanted, and he hears it clearly because he's right next to me. The food comes. He started making all these comments. Oh, you ordered that? Oh, you gonna eat all that? Mind you, I told him that my friend flew into town and that after dinner I was gonna go see her because she wanted me to pull up on her or whatever. He's like, did you order some food for your friend? He was like, if I wasn't here, would you order all that? Baby, you think I can't afford a meal? I said, honestly, if you wasn't here, I would have still ordered like this. This is how I eat with my friends. This is how I eat when I'm by myself.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
Crazy. But the kicker is, this man said, oh, I'm gonna go. I said, okay. He lays down $100, walks off. Mind you, he called us a black truck to dinner. So I rode with him in an Uber. He left. He didn't say anything besides I'ma go, and then set the money down and then dipped off. He didn't ask if I needed a ride, how was I gonna get home. He didn't ask what the bill was, nothing.
My nigga.
If you haven't yet, go get you some of that merch. Y'all already know, don't feed the birds. That's what it is. We don't feed the birds over here. So if you rock with your boy, go get you some of that good merch.